Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into episode number 76 of Clark After Dark. You guessed it, we're live and direct on RaceON.com tonight, just as we are every single week, folks. Hope you'll enjoy this one tonight. It's episode 76, and we got a lot of good stuff in store to talk about tonight for you, ladies and gentlemen. Great racing happened all around the Arklatex this past weekend, with 3 tracks in the state of Louisiana competing this last weekend between Super Bee, Arklatex, and Bee Speedway with their season opener. Several tracks along the great state of Texas as well. Texarkana 67 Speedway season opener unfortunately got washed out on Friday night. They'll try again this coming Friday night, March the 20th. Of course, the USA ball team, they'll play for the World Baseball Classic Championship. They'll go for gold tomorrow night. I think that'll kick off at 7 o'clock on Fox. So y'all be sure to tune in and root on the US of A. Got the American Crate Late Model Series invading Sabine Motor Speedway this season to kick off their 2026 campaign. What a story that American Crate Late Model Series is going to be this year. A lot of great storylines and a lot of great drivers going to be gunning down 2 great shows this week in between Sabine on Friday and Boot Hill on Saturday night. That's a long enough opening spiel for me, folks. I'll go ahead and bring on my co-host of this podcast. He's the man with the plan. He picked up a few checkered flags in his hands in his racing career. That's my man, Cortland Smith. Cortland, how's it going tonight? We'll just ask you, how's it going?
Hey, we're here, friend. It's a lovely Monday afternoon as we're sitting here recording this, and I can't complain about a whole lot. You mentioned a couple different things, man. Both National Touring Sprint Car Series were out on the docket this past weekend. You had World of Outlaw late model action at 2 great tracks out in Tennessee. You had a bunch of racetracks here in the Arklatex racing. You had Stems Modifieds at Texana. I mean, it was just, we were all over the place. I actually sent you a picture, and I said, this is my setup for tonight. And I had 5 different races going on 5 different screens, as many screens as I could steal from the house here. So, man, it's just a great weekend that we had. What a great weekend we're looking forward to this coming up weekend, man. You can't really complain a whole lot. I said the last couple weeks, like, race season's here, and we'll talk about it later, but there's 11 races on the RaceON platform this weekend. Like, it's absolutely, like, we are wide open, all gas, no brakes. Pull the warm-up boards out, ladies and gentlemen. We are racing. Like, I mean, no restrictors, all gas, no brakes. Like, we're wide open right now, and what a great weekend we had, man. From super late models and National Tour to MLRA, the World of Outlaw, high limit sprint cars, and everything in between, enduro races. I mean, what more could you ask for, Zach? Like I said, we are wide open, and we are racing, friend.
Yes, sir. We'll hit them with a few air horns there. First of all, man, we come to you guys tonight with heavy hearts.
Mm-hmm.
We do. Cortland and I've talked about this. And obviously I feel like it's necessary to say something on the podcast, and it's first and foremost. I was going to say it right there at the intro, but I knew I couldn't get too detailed in it. And so I saved it for this, and this is up first. I know many people, you've seen it today all over social media, and I come to you tonight from the heart. I never met this gentleman, Mr. Billy Hertz, who we tragically lost Saturday night at Kennedale Speedway Park. And there's really no other word to describe it other than tragic. I didn't know him, but by all accounts, from many people that I hold in high regard in this industry, I saw Brian Holbert today. You know what? I'm not necessarily looking to name people by names, but seriously, like, if you ask anybody in the industry what they think of Brian Holbert, or what they think of Scotty Cook, or this guy, or Johnny Gibson, they would all very well tell you that they love them and they hold them in high regard. And every single one of these gentlemen today, as soon as I got on social media to start my day, had nothing but positive things to say about Mr. Billy Hertz. And it just hurts to lose one of our own people. I mean, honestly, especially in that way, at the racetrack, in the midst of an event, just absolutely terrible. My prayers go out to his immediate family, but to our racing family as well, and to all those in attendance that witnessed this transpire on Saturday night. I started receiving text messages. I was in the middle of broadcasting the Team Solo Auto 275 at Arklatex. I started receiving text messages. It seemed like from people immediately as this happened and as it was unfolding. And I could kind of sense from the text messages that I was receiving that this was a bad situation. And just the worst thing, this is just the worst thing that can happen at a racetrack. And like I said, this man, and Cortland, I say all this because we know the dangers of racing. We know the dangers that a lot of these officials put themselves into. But this man, by all accounts, everything I read, he was very buttoned up at his job. He was extremely good at his job. This man had been doing this job for over 20 years as an official, right?
Yeah.
Very good at his job. And I saw Scotty Cook say that, like, this man was buttoned up. He said, so for this to happen to Billy was just unorthodox, right? It was like he doesn't make mistakes often, and we're not certainly going to say that he made a mistake here. Like freak accidents happen. What do we do, Cortland? We come on here all the time. I think we've unfortunately had a tragic event happen. A couple years. We came on this podcast, we talked about it. We see drivers get injured, and it's just a sobering reminder, and maybe even a realization that just how dangerous this sport is and how dangerous that it can be, even for those people that are helping put these events on, and for those people who are putting themselves in dangers for other people's safety, right? Like, we take it for granted. We really do. I am absolutely heartbroken over this situation. I felt terribly for my buddy Kevin Fry, who was excited to be back in the flag stand, flagging a World of Outlaws event. Talked to him last week, and he was just excited to get back up there in the booth and flag a World of Outlaws race. And he's one of the officials down there holding up banners, to shield the fans from this tragic situation, Cortland, that's unfolding in real time. So my prayers go out to him, who had to experience this, like, I mean, you're there. I mean, it's all, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just tragic, man. I can't even really find the words, right? I'm trying to articulate the words. And the matter of the fact is, man, I just don't have them, because there's nothing that I can say. There's nothing that I can do. There's nothing that anybody can say or do that is going to take the hurt away for right now. They say time heals, and I certainly hope that could be the case here. But man, I just hope that we don't lose any more fit. And listen, I wasn't there. I don't know exactly what transpired, but they're saying a pair of side by sides collided. All of this to say, and I say all of these things with a very heavy heart tonight, that don't take it for granted. Don't take your safety for granted. Don't take, because I guarantee you, Mr. Billy Hertz did not show up to the racetrack on Saturday night thinking that would be the last time he went to the races, Cortland. He did not. He probably thought he was going to go home and see his wife again. He'd see his kids again. He'd see his grandkids again, and he didn't. And and again, it is a very sobering reminder. We are in a dangerous sport. Granted, our safety, our technology has come such a long way over the last 30 years, but it cannot prevent freak accidents from happening. It just, and this is it. Like, again, I didn't witness this event happen, so I don't know. And this isn't the time and place, right? This is not the time and place to come here and say, well, he should have done that. We're not doing that here. We're not doing that. The only thing you can chalk this up to is just extremely tragic, and it's very unfortunate that it happened, man. And I'm not sure if you want to add anything to that, but if you'd like to, man, feel free to go ahead.
Just first and foremost, kind of like you said, thoughts and prayers out to the family of Billy Hertz. Thoughts and prayers out to the entire World Racing Group staff, because the dude worked ASCS events. He's been around, like you said, he's done this
Yeah.
for many, many years, and was a dude well respected, just like you. I mean, you get on the interweb today, and all you see is well respected names in our industry talking about how
Yeah.
well respected Billy Hertz was at his job, and everything he did, and how well he done his job. So, first and foremost, thoughts and prayers out to his family, everybody with the World Racing Group, and everybody's ever worked for, and all the race fans and track crew, everybody that was there in attendance, man. That's, like you said, it's a freak accident. And in this sport, we kind of, we're thankful that technology and safety, and we've got, we've excelled so much in doing things, but at the end of the day, this is a sport where stuff can happen, and it's not even just the drivers. There's a lot of people like Mr. Billy. He's one that would pull up and he's one that would put his safety on the line to go save other people. That was his job as his official job. So, it just it's an absolutely crazy. Like you said, is there any words that we could say to make this any better? Lord, no. Like there's not, like, you're at a loss for words when a situation like this happens. It's just, at the end of the day, kind of like you said, man, just take every day and enjoy it, because you never know when it might be. And then, sadly, in the sport that we all love and we all enjoy, situations like this can happen, and it's just absolutely tragic. That's the only word that you can say to it, man. And again, thoughts and prayers out to his family, friends, World Racing Group, all the officials, because I mean, whenever you're beating up and down the road, man, those guys become your family, right? Like, we talk
Right.
about racing family, and they truly do. I mean, you spend more time with these people on a week to week basis than you do 90% of your family. I mean, I talk to more racers throughout the week than I do any of my family members. I can tell you right now, I can count on my hand this year how many times I've talked to family members outside of my mama and my sister. You know what I mean? Like, it's just all people that we've come to know through racing. That is my family, right? So it's just one of them deals that, all the thoughts and prayers out to everybody who knew Mr. Billy, everybody that was there in attendance, man. It's just, it's an absolutely tragic deal, and just kind of puts a realization that, even like this stuff can happen, and you absolutely hate that it did. And just thoughts and prayers go out to his family, man. That's about all. I'm at a loss for words too, man. Me and you we're pretty good at coming up with some words about some things, and this is one that you just can't, other than my heart goes out to his family, friends, work officials. Again, I know I've said that probably 4 times, man, but there's nothing that I can say other than T's and P's are going out. And I just hope everything, some people find peace in everything, and we'll just find a way to trudge on, find a way to just with the strength and determination, and find a way to go on.
Yeah. I didn't know that we would talk about this in depth, but, when Yancey Martin passed away at Chatham, Super B a couple years ago,
Yeah.
like that was another, like that one really, like, and it's still, I think it's really like it shook everybody to their core. His wife is one of the sweetest ladies I've ever met, Miss Margaret. But I don't know that she still lives with that every day. Like every time she goes to Super B, like it's a reminder of what happened that night, but it's also a way that she can remember her husband. So I just hope that people can find a way to, like, man, because like that would be really hard to witness something like that. And like I saw a lot of people's Facebook posts, like you could almost like you have a hard time reading context, like people, in messages and things you see.
Yeah.
Sometimes you fail to get context, but like you could really like sense the context of the situation, that it was obviously really, really tough to witness, and it was really hard on everybody that was there. So, man, we'll try to shift gears here and move forward. Obviously, we're here to laugh and cut up and have a good time, but I would be remiss if we didn't kick off the podcast and start off and talk about that tonight, because it was necessary, and our hearts go out to everyone at KSP and all those at World Racing Group, like we said. So, I have a question for you as we shift gears here. Okay,
Let's go.
3 nights ago, this was Friday night or Thursday night. So I get this notification from ESPN or Sports Center, right? That Bam Adebayo has just broken, the Miami Heat has just broken the single game NBA record, right? But he shot 43 free throws, right? Well, I mean, technically it's second all time for most points scored in an NBA game. Okay, I'll be honest, I don't watch a whole lot of NBA. I'm a bigger college basketball kind of fan, but I'm not like a huge basketball guy. Sorry, Josh Bell, don't at me. Josh is a huge basketball guy. But so I sent Josh. Josh is actually in Houston watching the World Baseball Classic. I sent him a message. I said, dude, Bam Adebayo just broke Kobe Bryant's 81-point record, which Wilt Chamberlain has the most, over 100 points. But do we really like? I mean, come on. That's another conversation for another day. Like whether I know I watched Kobe score 81. Like I watched it, and he was on his game that night, right? Free throws from behind the arc, at the line, behind the line. It didn't matter. Kobe was killing them that night, scored 81 points. Well, I saw this notification, Bam Adebayo has scored 83 points, and I'm like, damn. Like, dude, I don't care how you get it, how it's done, what do? You score 83 points in a basketball game. Like, that's pretty good. But then I saw, like, okay, it was against the Wizards, and then, like, he pulled up 43 times from the paint, and it's like, okay, well, I bring up all this to say, like, if you have any kids in your classroom, right, we're sitting there, like when I was in school, I can't crumble this paper up. This is Jim Chisholm's Mod War 100 winning sheet. I had to give him that one day. But let's just say I was sitting in your classroom, Cortland, and I took a piece of paper and I balled this baby up and I said, Kobe. That's what we did when we were kids, right?
Yeah.
Like, or maybe MJ, like Michael, but it's Kobe. Yeah. I guarantee you ain't no damn kids out there gonna pull up a piece of paper and crinkle it up now, because Bam Adebayo's got 83 points and he's gonna go bam. He might say bam because he's trying to bam the shot, but he's not saying bam for Bam Adebayo. I'm not hating on Bam Adebayo, but damn, like, seriously, he broke Kobe's record. Could we just let Kobe rest in peace? And could you just let him have that record? You know what I'm saying? Could you just let Kobe live in peace? I'm not taking anything away from Bam, but damn, do you have anything on that? Sorry.
Bam, the few highlights I watched, it definitely looked like he was he had it in mind that he wanted to do that. Let's just put it like that. Yes. Like, he took some very egregious shots. Like, it wasn't a Kobe Bryant performance. Let's put it like that. And you mentioned that. I actually got junior high kids in PE. They'll pull up from anywhere and go Kobe. Like that will forever live on. You will never become Bam. I promise you, and if they do say Bam, it's not for Bam. You know what I mean? Like, it's to make the shot, like you said. So yeah, I'm not the biggest NBA guy, really. You know, I don't care if it was against the Wizards or the '08 Boston Celtics. You know what I mean? Like it's at the end of the day, it's an NBA game, and he scored 84 points or whatever it was. So congratulations to you, friend. But comparing him to Kobe, that's kind of silly. You know what I mean? You can go hop in the pond if you're gonna be a silly goose, because bam, you're just you ain't him, as they would say. You're not him. So congratulations. I'm glad you scored 84 points, but you're not Kobe. I'm sorry.
83.
And I say that as a guy that will never score 4 points in an NBA game, much less 84. So I know where I sit at in life, but it was funny because just like some of the shots he took, like, it's like, bro, like you didn't, like, that wasn't a shot. Like you were just trying to make something happen there. And hey, you know what? He made it happen. So I ain't going to sit here and dog on him too much. He scored 84 points in an NBA game, but he'll never be Kobe. That's all I'm going to say about it.
Yeah, I'm not trying to take anything away from him, dude. I mean, he scored 83 points. I mean, that's good, you know, against the NBA squad. But
sorry.
Yeah, 83. Yeah. But like, I mean, the Wizards, I mean, look at their record. I mean, a lot of people might say they're tanking, you know, and this, don't get me started, dude. I'm just gonna say it. I don't like the NBA. I don't even care to watch it. I'll watch the final. I'll watch playoff. I didn't feel that way like even 5 or 6 years ago. I used to watch a good bit of basketball, but that game has evolved into shit. I'm just gonna say it.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna make any bones about it. It's just crap. And that's just my opinion. And that's my story. And I'm sticking to it. And you can't convince me otherwise. It's just not what it used to be, man. And a lot of people would say the NFL is not the same either, because I feel like the officials and the flags that are thrown, like they just, man, the game is just not as pure as it used to be. But that's all I got. Let's talk about racing. Enough about basketball. I was just wondering if any of your kids, because I know kids got to be pulling up saying Kobe.
Oh, they still do Kobe. Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
100%.
And they better. And they better. Any day that you catch to do anything different, you write their ass up and send them to gas. But that's what we had back in the day, in-school suspension, or ISS. All right. So this week is episode 76. Boy, we've had some good. Last week we accidentally waited all the way to the very end. We're like, hey, you got your numbers? And we almost passed it up. 76 is our episode this week. I have got a pretty cool one for you. Okay. How about
I'm listening.
The old 76. Okay, and I'm only bringing this up because this is affiliated with racing. I remember growing up as a kid, and I remember seeing, Cortland, do you remember seeing that old 76 orange blue ball? And it was affiliated with racing, because these things used to be at all the racetracks. I want to give you a little history on this thing. This is actually pretty interesting.
Give it to me.
Union 76 gas stations. It's an iconic rotating bright orange sphere with a blue 76 designed by Ray Peterson back in 1962. And he did it, Cortland, to stand out amongst the competition on the West Coast roads. It became a pop culture nostalgic symbol, and Union 76 popularized them further by distributing millions of matching styrofoam antenna balls. Like you'd see cars have like these little antenna balls on them. Like that was back all the way in 1967. But again, the brand was really, really iconic. And many of those original 76 balls are considered vintage. They're located in arts museums. They're located around NASCAR racetracks still. And they still even have one at Dodger Stadium. Of course, the Dodgers just won the World Series last year. But if you pull up to Dodger Stadium, you'll see one of them 76 balls out there.
76.
There was a campaign in 2005 after the merger with ConocoPhillips to save the 76 ball following a rebrand with ConocoPhillips, like triggered a massive like public preservation campaign, because like apparently it's not just me, like there's other people that like saw these 76 and like held them in high regard. I'm not necessarily like hold them, but it's just a cool looking thing. It's so simple. I love the color orange. I like blue, but that 76 logo, just everything about it just looks really, really cool. So I remember that from a kid growing up and seeing them at a lot of the racetracks. So I thought of that. And of course, the Evans, Georgia hot shoe, Brandon Overton, former World 100 and dirt late model dream winner. Those are my 76. Who do you got?
I'm gonna keep it up with super dirt late models here, but Blair Nodorf out of Renner, South Dakota. He's a number 76. All right. A lot of people, you watch Flo and all, he's a young guy, I believe 25 years old. He makes the trek all the way from South Dakota down to Speed Weeks each year. He's come down there and run the East Bay and Volusia, all that for several years. He come down there this past year. And then another one down here in the old Bayou in old Louisiana. It's got Hesmer on my race pass, but Tyler Fogelman in the 76. Josh Martin has wielded a few times, but Tyler Fogelman, I believe he just become a realtor. So anybody that down here around Central Louisiana that needs something done in the realty world, call up Tyler Fogelman. I believe he just become a realtor as well. But those are my two 76s. And that 76, the old orange 76, bud, like that. I think Dale Jr. even has one of these at his rate at the old go-kart track at his house whenever he used to, back in the early 2000s, when he would have like 1,000 people show up and they race go-karts. I think he even had one there. And I think it was actually a viewing tower for the MRN broadcast, but it was a 76 ball that they had cut out. Maybe I may be a little bit wrong on that, but yeah, that is iconic right there. Even though that was probably a little bit before my time, but I remember as a kid, still that orange ball with the blue 76 was just something that you'll that'll forever live on if you ever notice it. And it's so simple. Like the marketing behind that is so simple, but yet it sticks so well. You know, like I'm going to bring this up to like my business class probably one day and talk about like just how simple marketing could be and just how easily like something like this could be done and everybody remembers it for years to go.
Yeah, so the reason why they did that is because he created it so the ball, it would look like a lollipop to just be more enticing and more appealing to people that were driving by. So I found that to be pretty cool. That's why I wanted to share it today, because I can't say I've seen one of those in a little while, but if apparently you go to the West Coast, you'll see some. And apparently there's still 76 gas stations that are still in operation, but it's not orange and blue anymore. It's red and blue. It's a little bit different color combination, but anyway, this past weekend, I mentioned it in the opening. How about Sabine Speedway kicking off their season down there in Manning, Louisiana? I didn't get a chance to watch a ton of it. I did catch a little bit of it. Did you go to Manning on Friday night or no?
I did not. I was actually selling some diecast cars on Friday night, friend.
Right.
I did have it going on in the background. No, not that that's no deal, but yeah, no, I did keep up with it, man. And I said it last year, and I'll say it again, man. Sabine Speedway is the hidden gem of Louisiana, and I'll put it like that, because you got to drive down a hog trail to get there, and you pull up, and you know, let's just be real, just about like any dirt track facility in the world. You know, a little bit older, a little bit outdated. You got wood bleachers, but man, can that place just absolutely put on some good shows. And you know, Shane and the gang all down there, man, Todd McKellar, all of them, you know, everybody associated with Sabine, man. That's a place that will forever have it'll forever hold a place in my heart, man. I spent a lot of many nights there as a kid with me and my dad. We go racing there, but it just always seems to be, man, that speed plant down there can just flat out get it on. Whenever Manny's right, I'll put it up there with the best of them, man, because there's been some really good races there, and year after year, just somehow or another, it produces some of the best racing you'll ever see. And when you pull up to it, you're like, there's no way this place is going to be that good. And just time after time, man, it gets it on. And they got it on, man. I'm glad they had a good season opener. They had how many? Oh, I thought I had how many cars they had there. They had a good car count in every single field, man. Just a really good night. CJ Howell picks up the win in the factory stocks. Got the Force chassis ape engine under the hood. He put that thing out front and picked up the win there. And then Ethan Bales would pick 1 for 1, starting off the year hot there. And then Ethan Bales would pick up the limited modified win that night. Jarrett Strickland would pick up his first win of the year in the Sportsters. Landon Stevens winning the front wheel drive. And my boy Fast One Phil Dixon picks up the B mod win over Boone Evans. And
hey,
what'd you say hello for?
Oh, I just hello. Like, that's a pretty big win for Phil Dixon, right? Like, anytime you can outrun Boone Evans, like a couple weeks ago, what we said, Matthew Risky was the man for beating him in a limited at Hunt County, and here we are 2 Friday nights later, and Phil Dixon has beaten Boone Evans at Sabine.
Yeah. And I mean, Boone was all over him, man. Phil didn't just like, you know, it wasn't nothing's easy when you outrun the 4 car, like we mentioned. Nothing's easy when you got to outrun Boone, but Phil picked up the win there, man. And I think it was a little wet starting the night off. I think most people will agree to it, but man, come feature time, it kind of widened out a little bit more, and he had really good racing, man. And that, like I said, that place just always seems to put out, no matter what, like a bad night. Sabine is a lot of tracks good nights. You know what I mean? Like that place can just somehow or another find a way to put out at least one good race a night, if not several. And if you continue to watch all year long right here on RaceON from Sabine Speedway, I promise you will not be disappointed in the speed plant at the Speed Palace in Manning, Louisiana, friend.
Dude, Shane Hebert has that place on the money right now, as far as racing service and everything goes. And let's be honest, dude, that Best Stop burger down there, like, I don't think you're going to touch that. Like, there's some really good burgers at a lot of the area racetracks. Honestly, I don't have a bad thing to say about any of our concession items at any of the tracks around. Like Miss Sonia Rice and Miss Nancy and Miss Carolyn Jones at Boot, they all do a phenomenal job between Architects and Boot Hill. But man, they got something special cooking down here in Sabine as well. Them best stop, or pit stop. What is it? The pit stop or the best stop? Either way, they have some really, really good
Yeah.
burgers, and that's where they come from. They're thick, just really good burgers. Josh Bell will tell you all day. He'll say it
Slabs.
right to your face. Josh Bell tell you they slap. Yeah, and he'll slap you if you don't like
Yeah.
them. That's what he'll tell you. But yeah, how about that? So Sabine, yeah, Ethan Bell's also, man, he got the limited modified win down there. How about Jarrett Strickland picking up the Sportster win? That kid is off to a hot start, right? He started off
Yeah.
2025
Rolling.
in a big way. He won the season opener at Boot Hill and didn't go back to victory lane all the way until the very final race of the year. So maybe this is something a little bit different. Jarrett started off the season hot, winning at Sabine, and then he won last Saturday night as well. So we'll see if Jarrett Strickland can keep this momentum rolling that he's got in that 1J car as he gets the Sportster win. Landon Stevens, I believe you said, won the 4 cylinders.
Yeah.
And yeah, pretty cool, man, for Phil Dixon. Man, his new car looks good, too. All A1 was sparking on Saturday night or Friday night. And CJ Howell, first start of the year, just kind of reiterating kind of what you hit on there. But CJ got the win over Tatum Perkins. So, and we'll get into Super B a little bit more. But before we completely get there, I mean, just kind of looking at this glass half full, Tatum Perkins got a win on Saturday night and left Sabine with a second. Like, that young man has just continued to improve and get better and better every time he sits behind the wheel. His new car looks really good. You feel good, you race good, you look good, you feel good, you play good. But anyway, yeah, that definitely applies for Tatum Perkins right now. Dwayne Raines had a good run too in the factory stock on Friday night, the 5-time track champ. Dalton Dubois left a little bit to be desired, though still came up with a top 5, and TJ Evans rounded out the top 5. Mickey Steele in that brand new 37 car, the ECS Smoke School entry. Good run for Mickey Steele, that familiar red and yellow, black, white car. He came home 6th. So David Edwards finished top 10.
That's a new Force chassis.
Yeah, new Force chassis there for him. So that's pretty exciting. Mickey Steele, man, I'm happy to see him back racing the factory stock, maybe a little bit more here in 2026. Saturday night, I was over at Arclitech Speedway for the Team Solo Auto 275. How about this new hoodie, huh? I like it, dude.
I told you it's pretty sweet.
The Live Hotel and Casino. First of all, it's pretty cool to have Live Casino coming on board sponsoring anything affiliated with motorsports. I know Horseshoe Casino sponsored the USMTS races. This is probably 8 years ago, but that looked really cool on the flyer. But this Live Hotel and Casino present the Team Solo Auto 275 and Vivian, and Corey Neal Jr. just bent him over the knee and spanked him on Saturday night. Like at one point of the race, the 407 of Neil Manchester had the lead, and I thought that they were racing for the top spot, but come to find out, Corey Neal Jr. finished this race 2 laps ahead of the rest of the competition. Like, he lapped the field twice. That's how cold-blooded Corey Neal Jr. was on Saturday night in Vivian. He was a limited modified style car. And, dude, what I found out is these limited modified cars seem to perform very well, right? Howard Willis has won quite a few of these Enduros. He had Joey Smith driving his 23 car this weekend. By the way, I caught up with Howard, got a really sweet interview with him the other day before the races, and I look forward to you hearing that because I said, give me a random, I said, Howard, give me your best Doug Ingles story off top. He said, oh, hell. And, dude, he just started coming at me. And I was like, damn, like, this is really good shit. And then I told Howard, we just started talking, and then he said, you also want to know something that still bothers me to this day and why I can't sleep good at night? And I said, tell me why, Howard. And he said, because I've never won a super late model race at Boot Hill Speedway. I almost fell out of my chair, Cortland. I had no idea that Howard Willis has never won a super, like a late model race at Boot Hill Speedway. He said he's won there in just about every other kind of car you could imagine. But he said that's the one place he always wished he'd have won in a late model. But he also agreed that SUPR, those late model days, he said that was the best racing's ever been. That was the best era we've ever had. And I said, well, I hear you. And we shook hands and I went about my business. But it was a pretty cool conversation, man. Got a little sidetracked there. But Corey Neal Jr. Just dominated. The Bridge City, Texas 22-year-old driver. And, dude, I went down to his car after the race. And I want to say this about Arclitech Speedway real quick. So I talked to Remington Bud after the races, and there was no dust whatsoever. And I heard him having a conversation. He said, Alan Lindo asked me or told me that he wanted no dust. He said, so I flooded that son of a, So he said he flooded it. And, dude, there was no dust. I talked to Whitehead after the races. He said the track was a little choppy. It was kind of rough. But I want to say this, man. After the race, Corey Neal Jr.'s tires were pristine. After 275 laps, Arclitex is not eating tires anymore. That's number one. That's good. And dude, I mean, they were racing all over this thing, like 3 or 4 wide. I was up there with
Yeah,
Steve Cape. This enduro stuff is just absolutely insane. Like
it
I
is
did my
wild.
best for anybody that was tuned in watching. I did my best. We did have live timing and scoring this year, but even when it said Corey Neal Jr. was up 2 laps, I still didn't believe it. Like I had to wait till the race is over for it to be official, till we could check all the scorecards. But it was pretty much either Corey Neal Jr. or the Neil Manchester show come at the drop of the checkered flag. Devin Smith advanced 44 spots to finish in second. Wally Beatty advanced 40 spots to finish in third. Derek Wilson, Paul White, Khalif Sellier, who races limiteds down at 105, finished sixth. Nick Vandiver was seventh. Trent Chin was eighth. Justin Whitehead got a flat at some point in the race, went back to the pits, came back on. He advanced 22 spots to finish in ninth. And Jesse Mazzell, another driver who exited the track early, came back on. He finished in 10th and rounded out your top 10. Jamie Sauner, 1 spot out of the top 10, finished 11th. He always comes down, the Ankeny, Iowa driver. But yeah, he ran like third the entire race, and then it went to hell in a handbag. But yeah, the Team Solo Auto 275, that is a whole different ball game. That's a whole different style of racing, and I'm with it. Like once a year, I'm game. Like Alan was like, "We got you good for next year," and I was like, "Bud, I'm in. Like I'm in. I'll be back next year." But it was fun. Did you check out any of it on Saturday?
Yeah, I checked it out. I did watch. I tuned in about the last 50 minutes. We had a school function that I went to, and then when I got back home, that's when I started throwing up all my different screens, and I checked into it. But I will tell anybody, like, if you're not a fan of the enduro racing because you sat at home and watched it, go to the racetrack and go sit down and actually watch it, because you don't.
It's
I,
different.
I will say you don't appreciate and you don't take in everything that's actually happening, because I went to, I think it was the last Lone Star 600 at Devil's Bowl, and it's one of them deals, like I've watched it before and I'm like, man, like I don't really know about this. And then you show up and you actually watch it in person, and then you don't know where to watch because it's 48 cars wide. You're ducking and dodging and diving, and they're all over the place. And it's like, it's nonstop action. Like it's literally nonstop action. Like at one point with like 20 to go, we had a car facing the wall in turn 4, and he has to put the thing in reverse, put her in reverse, Terry, and back her up as cars are coming around turn 4 wide open. Like, and these guys don't know what to, like, it's something that you really, like, I'm telling anybody, if you've never been in person, go check it out at least once. And then come back and tell me what you think about it. Because if you sit at home and watch it, it's not the same. And I tell you, Steve Cape, he told me for years when it first started, like I think he's announced all the Lone Star 600s or been a part of them, and then now doing the Team Solo 275. Like he always told me, he was like, you need to come. It's the like it's just the craziest thing you'll ever see, right? Like it's just, and all the different cars, like you got all the different styles of cars. You got guys from Iowa, Kansas, Texas, Minnesota, like they come from all over for this deal. And it really is, man. It's a spectacle that everybody needs to go check out at least once, and then that's how you give it your honest review. Because if you sit at home and watch it, I will say it's one of those deals where it's like, all right, like it's kind of hard to keep up. Well, definitely with live timing and scoring this year definitely helped a lot. Where in the past you were just kind of like we're on a whim of where everybody was at, but it really is, man. It is something crazy. I was at the one last year, and it really is cool, man. And I'm glad that Arklatex, you mentioned the tires. That was a big thing of last year, right? Over the past couple years was like, this thing is absolutely killing tires. And if Corey Neal pulled off of there after 275 laps and, his stuff looked good, it didn't rubber up. It didn't get like a weird sandy, dusty feel. All signs are looking good. Like you said, I don't know if you said it here but just need to get a couple more races underneath their belt, right? Just really get that surface worked in. It's first couple nights of the season, right? Like you got to give it some time just to kind of find its P's and Q's and get it all lined out. But man, the Team Solo 275, I'm sure if you watched, paid attention, man, it's a spectacle like no other. It's absolute chaos. Like I said, you got a car backing up down this track while we're still in a green flag action. Like it's just absolutely absurd, right? So go check it out, man. I'm glad they had a good turnout. I'm glad they're going to do it again next year. It has its little niche. It has its little niche. I don't want to say I want to see it every single weekend, but definitely at least once a year, if not 2 or 3 times a year, man. It's something that's really, really cool. And you love to see all the different people come out and support it, and all the different styles of cars that hit the speedway. I mean, you had like the knockoff Tesla out there with 10 doors on there. Like it's a madhouse, man. Yeah.
Yeah, you had Elon Rusk out there, and you also had the mayor of Titty City. Don't forget about the mayor of Titty City.
You did have that.
The mayor of Titty City, Tim Van Gotten, showed up, and he showed out, okay? I'm here to tell you now on Clark After Dark, episode number 76. That's indeed what he did on Saturday night. It is, man. It has its place. It's different. And I like different, right? A little bit,
Yeah,
every once in a while, it's fun just to have a little. And I'll tell you this: if you go back and you listen to Corey Neal Jr.'s post race interview with Steve Cape, it will tell you exactly like his feelings about enduros, and you could see how fired up he was. He just said, "Dude,
yeah.
I just went around this track for 275 laps, had the time of my
25
life, and
laps.
I just like." He said, "I just won $10,000 for it." Like actually
Yeah,
10,275 on top of the 10,000. So yeah, I mean
yeah,
it's an honest night's work. Like, and let's be honest, the race
yeah,
started on time. It started at exactly 7 o'clock sharp when we said the green flag was going to drop. And dude, it ended at like 9:36. Like it went pretty
yeah,
smooth, went really efficiently. And shout out to Alan Lindo and his wife Christy and the entire staff that puts this race on. They leased the track from Remington, for the weekend. So they did a great job, man. And Alan takes a lot of pride in these races, man. He really does. He wants to become the best enduro. Like he knows he wants his spot in the enduros, right? He
yeah,
knows what the Super Tech 600 has been and what it's had with Chris and with RaceON and what they've built, but he's built something special in his own right, right? And I got a lot of respect for that, man. Anybody that takes pride in anything they do, I have respect for it. And I've always had a good friendship with Alan Lindo back to when he was racing the old 136 Caterpillar car at Lone Star, right? Like he was always a
yeah.
guy. I could go up to Alan and interview him at any point in time and just say, Alan, how much money do you have in your factory stock? And he would tell you straight up, and he said it with pride, like, I ain't got but 2,000 total dollars in this car, and it makes my day when I outrun these guys with 25 and $30,000 cars.
Yeah.
So yeah, these enduros is right up his alley, man. And I hope that people will continue to support it. 85 cars took the green flag. That's pretty cool to watch 85 cars go
It
around
is.
that place. Arklatex is the perfect track for it too, because it's so wide. Arklatex is so wide. You watched it throughout
Yeah.
the race. Like Corey Neal Jr. didn't get off that very tippy top of the track, but just a couple of times to just navigate through traffic. He stayed up all the way on the top out of harm's way all weekend and just kind of made laps. Dude was averaging like 17.1 second lap times. Was just ripping the
It's not
entire
bad.
race, and
Yeah,
that's why he won by 2 laps. He was rolling in that rig. Yeah, he's
yeah.
good. Also, Super Bee Speedway in Chatham, Louisiana kicked off their season on Saturday night as well. We wrap up the Arklatex area races, and we'll get into what happened regionally and nationally as well. But man, I haven't had a chance to even really look. I do know the winners, but man, give me a couple tidbits, couple storylines that happened over there at the B. What was the buzz all about?
What was the buzz all about? No bee
Yeah.
repellent needed this weekend, man. The bee was actually pretty sporty. I'll give them credit, man. Season opener, they had a solid 78 cars grace the pit area, and you can't really complain about that, man. First true night out, new ownership and all that. I think it was a really good turnout, man. And we mentioned Tate Perkins a little bit earlier, and he comes out the gate firing on all cylinders this year, man. Even his run at Boot Hill, he was in that heat race with 36J and Neil Kemp, and that kind of just got him buried throughout the night, but kept speed with them and had a really good run there. And broke leading the B main, right? And then turns around to Manny, goes out there, runs second to CJ Howell, nothing to shake your hat at. And then he goes out to Super B, and they got into lap traffic, and he just drove right around JPJ of John Parker Jr., man, and just took out there and literally just said, "Hey, I'm taking this one away from you, man," and flat out just drove the daylights out of it, man, and picked up the win over there in the factory stocks. Parker Cloud did Parker Cloud things in the street stocks. I feel like anytime you look over at Super B Speedway and they're running street stocks, Parker Cloud's probably a dude that's going to be either first or second, no doubt about it. And he picks up the win there. And the limited modifieds, we mentioned them. Mark Underwood Jr., just the last couple of years, man, you feel like he's just been, he's been fast and just something would happen or just not necessarily things go his way, right? And he kind of got the monkey off his back this past weekend. And picked up the win over Ethan Bells and Jared Wallace there. That was your top three for the limited modifieds. Devin Richards did pro mod things out at the Super B. Anytime, same thing about Parker Cloud, right? If you look at pro mods at Super B Speedway, Devin Richards is probably going to find his way into that top two spot, and he took the win there in the pro mods. Your man Austin Storm's Tree Services, stormed his way to victory lane, bud, and went down there in the old infield and did a little burnout, a little celebration. Did a little rod check on the old 604 crate engine down there after picking up his win. Zane
Oh, I
Hare,
hear you.
hey, my boy Zane Hare made it all the way to Super B and picks up a dub. All right, I ain't gonna shake a stick at it, but that's not gonna be the last one of the year for the young man in the 29 car. And then Billy Smith picks up the tuners, man. At the end of the day, Super B did really, really well, man. And what a great first night out. Again, it's one of those deals. Was the absolutely perfect? No. Were they able to go around and pass cars and move around? Was it a lot better than it's been in the past? Heck yeah. So all tip of the cap there to Super Bee Speedway, man. 78 cars in the pit area. You had really good fields of cars, man. You list those names of winners, and there's nobody that you really look at and go, well, that was a scrub, right? You know what I mean? Like when you look at that list of winners, I mean, you go through that factory stock field. I mean, it was a pretty stout field. I mean, you had 21 entries, and you had Tate Perkins, John Parker Jr., Mickey Steele passes 5 cars to come to third. Matthew Lindsay, Matthew Driscoll, David Smith. You know, it was a really good field. Mark Underwood and CJ both coming to some trouble and had DNFs there. Josh Martin and ran into some trouble as well, but a really good field, man. If you showed up to Super B, you definitely got your money's worth, man. And you can't really complain about that first night out.
Yeah, how about Zane Harry, one of the in the Sportsters? He has now won at as many tracks as his dad did throughout his career, and this kid's only been racing for 2 years, and not even full 2 years yet. You know, he's already matched the old snap and turtle. So, not a bad run for Zane. I think that kid's going to be good. Like, I don't know how long he'll stay in the Sportsters, or I haven't really talked to Tyler about that in detail, like what his plan or maybe the game plan is for him. Like once he feels like he may move up, and I'm not so sure Tyler really wants him to move up anytime soon because he probably doesn't want to flip the bill for a limited or a B mod or a factory stock anytime soon. He's probably enjoying this Sportster stuff right now. Let's just keep winning here and taking care of business, and maybe in the future. Because we got to keep in mind this kid's still very young. I mean, still very, very young, still a lot to learn yet, and there's no sense in like a lot of times I feel like I'm not saying us, or I'm not saying parents are forcing their kids. Obviously, I think the kid obviously has to have goals or aspirations or want to move up and have a future in the sport. But sometimes I have seen in past, I've seen kids get moved up too quickly and then they get burnt out, or just things. You move up to the next level and you're not winning as much, or you're not as competitive, and it kind of burns the fire out for you. I don't suspect that would be the case for this young man. I think he would appreciate a challenge, but we'll see how that all unfolds, but I think he's got a bright future. Young man is really, really, really fun to watch. So, and one more note as well. I didn't get all the way into the Heart of Texas Speedway results, but Jet Hefty won another factory stock race this past weekend at Heart of Texas. And before we move completely away from local or regional or local racing, Jet Hefty won another factory stock race. I don't know if we can officially say that kid is on a roll, but just want to say that we've got a lot of really good young drivers right now in our sport. I mean, Dustin Hennigan won the 30,000 last year. This Jet Hefty is going to be a factor this year. Yeah. He's 16 years old, and I'm telling you right now, when we race May 7th through the 9th for 30 large at Boot Hill, this Jet Hefty in car number 11, he's coming to Boot Hill. He's winning all these races leading up. He's coming to Boot Hill with his chest out, man. You hear me talk about his pop? Like, he's coming in like 16 years old, standing 10 foot tall. And it's going to be interesting. Like, I'm really excited to see how he's going to do, because that's when all the culmination of your efforts and all what you've been doing, that's when you want it to come to roost, right? When you're racing for the big money at the Boot Hill Speedway. So excited for that. And I hope, we'll see if that young man can stay on the roll that he's on. Speaking of other young kids, regional racing, here we go. How about Arrowhead Speedway had the triple threat for the All-American Modifieds this past weekend, and his first ever start, just like Zane Harris' first ever start at Super Bee Speedway. Yes, it happened in a Sportster, but guess what? He had to start somewhere in his career, just like Talon Willis had to start somewhere. He started at Thunder Valley Speedway in 2022 and didn't win his first ever start in a street stock. I think he finished third, but the second week he did. This young man has showed so much strength and showed so much speed. He was a guest on 10 podcasts ago. He was episode 66 guest, was Talon Willis. I think, Cortland, that Talon Willis just had his most impressive performances yet, right? He has impressed us here locally at Boot Hill. He won the Louisiana State Dirt Track Championship in the B mod. He came from 13th and won the LSDTC in a modified last year. But for him in his first full season in a modified, and it takes his CDR race car, the Mikey Kyle Motorsports 10M car, goes to Arrowhead, and just listen to this. This is crazy. Or is it? Or is this just the progression that he is taking in his career? We know what he's capable of, but for him to actually do it, okay, Talon Willis walks out of Arrowhead Speedway in Concord, Oklahoma, the man. He won $9,000. So we had the triple threat. They were in 3,000 wins on Saturday. They were in twins on Friday, which were also 3,000 win. Talon Willis won his feature on Friday night. You want to finish second? Oh, just Tyler Wolf, who's really, really good at Arrowhead. Kay Dillard finished third. R.C. Whitwell, who is obviously one of the greatest to ever do it in an open wheel modified of the IMCA part ranks. Kel Murphy, also shout out to him. What a performance for Kel Murphy this weekend. Also finished fourth on Saturday. Kyle Slater, Joe Duval, and Drake Findlay. That's your top 8 on Friday night's feature for Talon Willis. He comes back in on Saturday night, and then he beats Tyler Wolf. I'm sorry, he beats Reese Solander, USMTS stalwart. And then he beats Trevor Hughes, who finishes third. Win again, Chris Hennigan was up there also. Shout out to the Hennigans. Dustin had a great run. He finished fourth in his feature on Saturday as well. Trevor Hughes, Chris Hennigan, Wyatt Gajero, Chase Hatton also traveled up to Arrowhead. Good run. Dean Willie and former Doug Murphy Memorial champion Johnny Bone Jr. finished 8th. If it's any time as any to say that Talon Willis is on his way, he's going to race the King of America just in a few weeks at Lucas Oil Speedway. I'm not saying he's going to win the King of America, but he might be the rookie of the year in that deal because, my goodness, you cannot top a better field of modifieds than what he just beat. That may as well had a USMTS sanction on it. That is as tough of a field of modifieds you're going to find anywhere in the country. There was 52 on Friday, 56 on Saturday, and Talon Willis gets the $3,000 bonus on top of sweeping them. So $6,000 for the wins, $3,000 more for the sweep, $9,000 weekend for the X-File from 10 Mile. That was some extraterrestrial type stuff out of Talon Willis. What a performance for him.
You started to say it, and it's one of them deals like, are we really surprised though? Like, are we really surprised? Because it's one of them deals like we know it's down, like we know he has the talent. He's got great support group around him. He's in the CDR race cars. Like, and at the end of the day, are we surprised? Like, I'm gonna sit here and tell you no. Like, I'm not surprised the dude went out to the Wild West shootout and showed flat out speed. He didn't necessarily have the runs that he probably wanted come feature time, but like he's obviously can make speed in anything this kid's ever driven, right? Whether it's a B mod, the 955 limited modified, street stock, no matter what you put him in. Like he'll tell you right now, factory stocks may not be his favorite thing to drive, but if you put him behind the wheel, he'll find speed in that as well, right? Like he can just go out there and find speed. He's just got the racecraft and everything about it, man. And you look at that Arrowhead, like that place isn't really an easy place to get around neither, because like that, I mean, I feel like that's a place I didn't necessarily watch it, but when you got a list of drivers like that finish behind you in a place that I've been to, that I know the line changes a lot throughout the night and is really kind of a real technical place when it gets really slick and you got the little mud ring around the bottom and the cushion, or you got to roll through the middle, whatever it may have been, right? But at the end of the day, man, you know, you almost, I feel like you were leading up to it. Like, am I surprised? No. Like, it's just, I mean, it's Talon Willis going out there and exceeding all expectations that you can put forth on him, right? Like he's going out there and proving what everybody has believed in him and why everybody has put him in the positions he's been put in, right? It's everything. The progression is getting there. Obviously, the more laps he makes, the better he's going to get. But you go out there and perform like he did at Arrowhead Speedway, like you said, with the fields like they had, you might as well put a USMTS label on it and ship it, right? Because the dude went out there and beat the best of the business. First trip up there to Arrowhead, and I mean, it's just the sky's the limit right now. And you mentioned the King of America rolling up. It's somewhere he went last year and made laps in the B mod, so that definitely helps going into there this year, kind of having an idea what to expect. I know they've done a lot of track reconfiguration and changed a lot of stuff, but at the end of the day, you're pulling in the same pit area, probably the same style of dirt. Like, you're going to have a pretty good idea where you need to be at, right? So, but I mean, like I said, like we can sit here and we can act surprised and be like, oh my gosh, but at the end of the day, it's like, and I'm not taking nothing away from him. I'm not happy. Like, It's not like I'm not happy for him. I'm like, I'm pumped up for Talon Willis, man. He's putting, he's going out there and doing everything that everybody ever expected him to do, right? Like that's why he's been put in these positions. And he's just going out there and displaying it time and time again of like, this kid, the X mile from 10 Mile can flat out wheel. And that's all you need to know about it.
He's done it for us, right? He's performed this way for us. He won his first ever start at Sabine. He won his first ever start at Boot Hill. He won his first ever start at Arklatex. But to go up to a different region, to go up to Arrowhead, this is only you're like your 12th career modified start. I mean, yeah, this young man, he has a lot of expectations on his shoulder. But as when he was sitting here on the other side of this camera talking to us when he was on the podcast, he's just so cool, calm, and collected for his age, right? Like, the kid is really, really wise. He has a lot of wisdom for his age, and obviously he gets it honest. His dad, I mean, Adam was a really good racer as well, and he had a pretty good win percentage at first-time visits to racetracks too. But like Adam texted me the other day, like he's just so fired up. I mean, to see your son out there to perform that way. But the thing about it is Talon earned that opportunity, right? Like he earned it by dominating around locally in the B mod and doing what he did, around here. And It's really cool. It's really cool to see, and I'm sure that he'll keep it up. And it's just the next progression, right? Like there'll be the next level is to go win a USMTS race. This young man's not going to stop there. His goals and his dreams. He told us on this podcast. He said he's not counting out NASCAR. Why would you? But he said that he's not
Yeah.
counting out Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series. That's what he wants. That's where he wants to go. And I think he's got the talent to do it. If he plays his cards right and the right people recognize him, and you know how this all works. The right people got to recognize. Just there's so many
Yeah.
different things to consider for things to go right. But what he can control, the young man is doing what he's supposed to do to control what he can control from the driver's seat. So congratulations to the X-File from 10 Mile, Talon Willis, who is off to a hot, like in fuego start to a racing career that we've
In
seen in
Fuego.
quite some time. And I hope people not just in our general region will soon learn the name Talon Willis, because he's that dude. He really is that dude. Um, Man, what do you want to talk about next? We got the World of Outlaws sprint
What
cars
about
this weekend. Of course. What? Go ahead.
I was gonna say, what about a little MLRA action? We're gonna keep it
Oh,
somewhat
come on
regional,
with it.
then we'll
They
go
were
national.
Yeah, they were at
They were at
Springfield.
Springfield Raceway.
Yeah, that old Tony
Get
Jackson Jr. just swamped them this past weekend, didn't he? But he's really good in his home
yeah.
state there. The March Madness with the MLRA, as seen live on RaceON. Tony Jackson Jr. sweeps the weekend of the Longhorn chassis number 56. But Dylan McCowan actually at one point on Saturday night, man, he got up in there and threw a slide job in the Sonic Drive-In number 8 car. So it's not like Jackson just stomped them all weekend long. I mean, McCowan had a good run on Saturday night, just came up a spot short. But Tony Jackson Jr., man, trying to get back into those Tony Jackson Jr. type winning ways, if you will.
Yeah, he was horns up all weekend long. I mean, he had that Longhorn just ripping around there. And Springfield is a really interesting place, man. If you've never been there, like go check it out, because that place is pretty sweet. Like it's a different setup.
40.
Like the grandstands and the pits are kind of up, and you kind of look down at the racetrack, and you got the front stretch wall, but then the back stretch kind of flattens out, kind of like a little bit of an Arklatex deal. But like when I say them dudes haul the mail around there, like them late models in qualifying don't lift. Like you got to be able to steer in on the like it's a wide open get her on at Springfield, and like they know how to get that place right too, man. And the late model features were really good. Shout out to Clay. He's charged up like 12-15 spots on Friday night to finish second. You know, that seems to be just one of his places that Clay Stuckey can just really get around. That's it. Like, and you know where he's going to be at. Like he's going to be down there around that bottom. Like he likes that Springfield. Like I swear, anytime the gates are open to Springfield, that 15 car will be rolling in there with Clay Stuckey. I guarantee it. But he had a really good run there on Friday. But man, it's just going to be hard. Like you said, Tony Jackson Jr. An interesting note, old Tim Douglas, who used to be an Infinity house car or Infinity chassis type of consultant deal. He's working back with Tony Jackson Jr. this year. So that's kind of one of them deals where you got an experienced guy on the wrenches out there helping you. And Tony Jackson Jr. ain't no dummy neither. And he's got some of the best equipment out there. And it's always clean rides out of the 56 camp as well. It's going to be a year that I know Tony Jackson, he's got to be fired up with this MLRA series getting kicked back off and a lot of races back in his home region that he's definitely going to be looking forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, it's cool to see MLRA live on RaceON too. I enjoyed watching that.
Cool.
Yeah, I watched as much of it as I could this weekend. But yeah, I agree with you, man. Springfield's and Jerry does such a great job at that place. Probably the most unorthodox promoter in the game. Like Jerry Hoffman is not scared to tell you how he feels.
I've seen him tell people just load up. I've seen him tell people like just leave. I don't care. Like hey, the pit gate's right there. You mad about it? Roll. Like, yeah. I mean, the dude, he don't care. Like, they even shot free throws for starting position, I think, at one of the nights. Like, hit the dude. I don't know if he come up with that idea or that was MLRA thing, but, like, my boy Jerry, he ain't scared of nobody. You heard, like, he knows how to get that place dialed in right come feature time. So, yeah, it is a really interesting place. You ever get a chance to go talk to him, go do so, because you won't be disappointed.
While we're talking about late models, we might as well go over to the World of Outlaws. World of Outlaws late models presented by Dirt Vision. They were at Bulls Gap on Friday night. Now, you just talked about Springfield and how they get it on a qualifying. I messaged you Friday night in the middle of qualifying. Yeah. I was like, dude, this qualifying at Bulls Gap is something else. Like, it's a spectacle to watch. That place, it's not as banked as Tazewell is, but damn, that place is banked. And that is one of the fastest quarter-mile racetracks on the planet. Is it not? I mean, the Gap is, and every time I see Bulls Gap, I think about that race between Larson and Davenport in 2022, right? That was such a Donnybrook special, and that will always go down, I think, as one of the races of all time. I mean, just a phenomenal race. But Mike Marlar gets the win on Friday night at Bulls Gap. How cool is that to see Mike Marlar back in victory lane with the Ronnie Delk 157 car? Um, I mean, we could get into on Friday night there. I don't have a whole lot, but I did kind of want to talk to you about that wild crash between Kyle Strickler and Ethan Dotson.
Yeah.
That was crazy. I mean, and you kind of gave me your opinion on that. Kind of what was your take on that? I wish we had a video to throw on the screen to refresh you guys' memory. But so Ethan slides Strickler down in turns 1 and 2 in a heat race. They get back to the other end in turns 3 and 4, and Strickler drove off in there in his AK race car to throw a slider to return it. And Ethan stayed on the gas to power on the outside. I mean, he didn't check the throttle to drive underneath. You guys would need to see the video. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it if you listen to this podcast by now. So we're just going to give you our opinion or speculate about what happened here. Oh, and I saw it. I was like, damn, like I didn't think that was necessary. But I feel like I don't know who I'd put it on more because, like you said, that probably Ethan Dotson probably thought that Strickler was throwing it back in. I'm sorry, that you would, as the racer, you would expect Ethan's going to be receiving a slider in 3 and 4. So maybe he would have checked the throttle and let Strickler just go and they would exchange more sliders down in 1, but that's not what happened. Strickler ends up getting flipped. Dotson stays in the gas, catches his right rear, and up and over he goes. And Strickler gives a pretty interesting interview there and said, Ethan's a dumbass, needs to be parked, this, that, and the third. Basically said his mind. And I mean, it was kind of silly. It just seemed a little silly.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like it needed to happen. It's certainly in a heat race. But these guys, that history, them two race IMCA and modified together over the years. There's something that goes back to Volusia and the little bit of history there. That I think that's how that unfolded. I'm not so sure that if Strickler was slid by anybody else, that thing would have unfolded a little bit differently. I'm not sure.
It's one of them deals, like when you messaged me about it and I sent it back, like Dotson went in there and slid Strickler. Strickler had to check the brakes and turn underneath Dotson, right? And whenever you're going down the backstretch, I've never raced a super late model. Sure, I've never raced one at Bulls Gap, Tennessee, but it's one of them deals like Dotson's got to know a slider's coming, and then he drives it on Strickler's door. And I think a little bit of past history, like you mentioned, at Volusia, remember, these two dudes got parked for an entire night in World of Outlaws competition because after a heat race, they went over there and played mollywop with each other and tried to take each other out after the race was over. So I think a little bit of past history goes on to it. But at the end of the day, like, you feel bad for guys like Dennis Erb Jr., right? Like, you got two guys that, like, hey, you're at Bulls Gap, you qualified on the front row. If you just get out front and keep speed and 8 laps, you're probably going to start the feature. Like, you're probably going to make the race and you're probably going to start up towards the front. So let's just like put the differences aside and have a good starting position for this feature, right? And then whatever happens. You make the call. Like, do I think it's Dotson's fault? Do I think it's Strickler's fault? I think you can put a little bit of blame on both of them, but who wants to play the blame game, right? At the end of the day, Strickler gets turned upside down, Dotson gets deboed, and then you knock the carburetor off of Dennis Erb Jr., right? Like, and you just got a bunch of, that's the one thing that I hate about all of it is when people like take out their frustrations, like, and I'm all about returning a right rear quarter panel to somebody that does it to you and just go ahead and get it out the way and don't let this boil over for 6 months. But whenever you flip the guy and you come down the track and you take out a Dennis Erb Jr., like, what good does that do for anybody, right? Like, and like I said, you're both going to start up front towards the heat race. Like, if y'all two just figure it out within a half a lap or a lap, like, you're probably going to be starting in the front 4 rows of the feature, and none of this would even matter. But, whatever temperament prevailed, right? And they made the decision, and it's one that they got to live with. So it is what it is, man. At the end of the day, like you mentioned, Mike Marlar picks up the win. You could tell he's pretty excited, right? Like, Mikey's just one of the good dudes. He's always got a pretty good attitude. Like, he's got Josh and Jerry down there, old Donk, and like, it's a bunch of buddies from Tennessee that just go racing together and been blessed and fortunate to have great people that sponsor them and be able to do what they do, right? But the 157 out front is definitely it's nothing that we've never seen before, right? And I'll tell you, if you ain't heard me say it before, I'll say it again. I feel like Mike Marlar is one of the better, most underrated dirt late model drivers out there. He's a guy that can get it done in any condition, any type of racetrack, anywhere in the country. And to see him back out front victory lane is really, really cool. And it's kind of funny, we had another big flip. Jimmy Owens flips at the start of the feature. And Marlar said he thanks the good Lord that red flag come out, because he was seeing all red, because RTJ gave the 157 a right rear on the start. And if it wasn't for the Owens caution and everything coming from that and getting stopped, Marlar said he was seeing nothing but red and probably wasn't going to finish the race, or probably wasn't going to win the race, because he seen nothing but red at that point, and was I don't know if he's going to take a shot at RTJ or what, but it was really cool to see the 157 pick up the win at Bulls Gap.
Yeah, Pierce charged to a podium on Friday night. RTJ, like you said, a good run for Ricky Thornton, trying to get off the schneid, if you will. But he's about dubs. His second places aren't a fan of his. So, but I'm sure a second feels like a victory for him right now. It felt pretty good. And then on Saturday night, you talked about Dennis Erb Jr., dude. It was just not a good weekend for the 28 car for the Carpentersville, Illinois driver. I'm glad he's okay, because that's another deal. I was in the middle of broadcasting this Enduro on Saturday, and I'm getting messages about what's going on at Kennedale. And then I get messages from you and other people about, man, this terrible crash that has just happened, at Smoky Mountain on Saturday night. Brandon Overton was out front dominating this race, comes around, gets the white flag. And I still haven't had a chance to go back and see exactly what transpired. Maybe you have a little bit more intel here, but Dennis Erb around at the top of turn number 4. And man, you could see on the video that like Overton, you could see the wheels jockey back. Like he just had no time. Like he tried to react, but there was just absolutely nowhere for him to go, and just absolutely T-bones Dennis Erb Jr. One of the hardest, most vicious hits that I've seen in a super late model race in quite some time. I mean, just heavy, heavy impact. And, we talk about safety, man. We're happy that those guys are able to get out and walk out of their own power. Number one, it's a bummer for Brandon Overton, because number 2, it takes a race win away. I mean, he was going to win this race. Takes a win away. Number 3, that race car toast probably never be the same. 4, you're going to be trying to find the feel and get the feel back on that race car that you had dialed in so good with your backup car. Now it's just a lose-lose shitty situation and a no-win scenario for all involved in that crash, man. That sucks for Brandon Overton. Pierce, listen, nobody ever has accused Pierce of lucking into a win. You have to put yourself in position. So we're not going to do that here tonight. We're not going to say Pierce lucked up into a win, but Pierce got handed a victory on Saturday night at the Smoky Mountain Speedway, man. But that was unfortunate.
He said it in the interview. Bobby said, he was like, I had a 3rd place car and ended up winning it. And that's just, sometimes you'd rather be lucky than good, right? Like he knew where his cars were going to fall without that wreck happening, right? And it's just, we mentioned about Dennis Erb getting collected. Yeah, and Madden, we mentioned Dennis Erb getting collected at Bulls Gap, and him and another car get together. I think he went up to the door of Logan Zarin after the wreck, and obviously showed his displeasure to him. So maybe they got together, and he was spun around on that backstretch, man. And, Overton's in lap traffic, and I believe it was Jake Tim was in front of him, and just those cars. I mean, we talk about the droop, right? Like we're trying to keep these deck heights down. Well, when they're at attitude and your car's over on the right front, it's not like you can see over these guys or see through the race cars, right? Like we got spoilers, we got droop 52 inches in the air. Like you can't see around them. And Jake Tim just literally hangs the left at the last second. I believe Tim was who was in front of Overton, hangs the left at the last second, and Overton just has literally nowhere to go. Like we see it happen, time and time again. A lot of these wrecks were a lot of gnarly hits. A lot of the gnarly wrecks that we see in these hard hits are situations like that, where the car in front of the guy ducks out the way at the last second, and Overton just had nowhere to go. KOs Dennis Erb, gets shot up the racetrack. Madden gets his whole left side ripped out from underneath him. And it was a disastrous way to end the weekend for a lot of guys, other than Bobby Pierce, Nick Hoffman, and RTJ, right? Because they went from being 3rd, 4th, and 5th to 1, 2, and 3, and their paychecks jumped increasingly in value, right? So you absolutely hate it for the 76 camp. You absolutely hate it for Madden, because it was those two guys' race, right? Like it was a really good race there. They had a restart, about 15 to go, maybe 20, and Overton powered around Madden on the outside when I think a lot of people didn't think the outside was there, and Overton was able to go out there, and you could tell his car's just been really good this year. Like it seems the 76 is back, right? We've talked about it several times on here before. And he was just able to just make speed out there on the outside when a lot of guys had kind of got married to that bottom, and drove around the 44 Madden, and had it in his grasp. Like it was his for the taking. It was, they were probably already writing BR on the check to start spelling the name out, and literally some cars back there in the back get together and spun around. And I mentioned Dennis Erb before. Like I hate it for him, right? Because it's two situations where like his weekend, just went to, I mean, crap in a handbasket, right? Like it just went to absolute dog water doo-doo. Like there was no way to fix that weekend. And his car's destroyed, Overton's car is destroyed, Madden gets taken out. Like it was a really crappy situation, unless, again, like I said, unless your name was Bobby Pierce, Nick Hoffman, and RTJ, because then your paycheck just got increased and you got to interview on the front straight away. But at the end of the day, it was a really good night for Smoky Mountain. Really good turnout for the Outlaws this weekend, man. Two really good racetracks that seemingly always seem to somehow or another put on a really good race. And those were your guys. And now the 32 has the points lead in the World of Outlaws with Nick Hoffman, I think 7 points behind him. Yep. Well, on the Outlaws trail.
And McCready's not far back either, man. He's only 52 points back. Gustin's 91 points back, and Tyler Erb rounds out the top 5 in points right now. He's only 92 back, so he's only 1 point back from Gustin in 4th. And Dalton Wilson, another one of them drivers, he's declared he's running for World of Outlaws Rookie of the Year this year. Logan's there. And Trey Mills, who just not, after having that great run, after the heartbreak we talked about on the pod last week at Golden Isles, he is 3rd in the Rookie of the Year standings and left a lot to be desired down there this past weekend. But yeah, it's gonna be the Pearson Hoffman show this year. It'll be interesting to see when the track starts slicking off and it starts getting hotter outside. I think Tim McCready's really going to come to rise at that point of the season. So it'll be interesting to see, because I mean he's pretty close. He's within striking distance. You can make up 52 points in a race weekend. So I think it's going to be Pierce, Hoffman, and McCready show this season. But we'll see how it all unfolds, man. There's a lot to look forward to in the late model ranks. Another thing I want to talk about real quick about super late models before we completely move away from it, before we talk about sprint cars. I want to know your opinion about Randall Edwards departing Josh Rice Racing after Speed Weeks. Man, we were so excited about it. Cheeseburger pairing up with Josh Rice. Of course, Josh Rice is a longtime Rocket customer, right? Rocket XR1 racer. He's been in Rockets. He's performed well. He's run the Ralph Latham with the Lucas Oil Series at Florence, his home racetrack. We know what Josh Rice can do. And so he started off the season in a Longhorn, right? Horns up for the 11R of Josh Rice out of Crittenton, Kentucky. And we were all just kind of like, well, we hope this works out, but having Randall there is only going to speed up the learning curve for him to figure out this Longhorn chassis. Well, through 21 or 22 Speed Week events, it was posted that they amicably split. So that's good to hear, right? There's no bad blood, nothing hit the fan. I mean, Randall handles himself pretty professionally. He's worked for a lot of different race teams, but I was kind of disappointed to see that, right? I'd liked him to see it kind of chased it out a little bit longer than Speed Weeks, because we know how Speed Weeks can go, man. It can either go really well or it can go really, really damn bad. I mean, very rare that guys go to Speed Weeks and like you just have the mediocre Speed Weeks, right? Like, oh, we were kind of good and we were kind of bad. Like, no, like you're either all right or you just really aren't good at all, and you leave there and you need to figure out whether you need to change the whole freaking kitchen sink on the race program. Well, apparently Josh Rice and the team, I don't know how this all unfolded, but Randall Edwards is no longer calling the shots on the 11R of Josh Rice. What are your thoughts?
Am I surprised? No, maybe not. I really don't know. I figured Randall maybe would have stuck it out a little bit longer and just gave him a chance. It's not like Josh has a lot of starts down there at a lot of these tracks. So it's something that, we'll see. Maybe Randall, I'm trying to think of the best way to say this. I guess you could say there's a shortage of crew hands in the late model world. So it's not like Randall can't pack up and go somewhere else. Does that make sense? Like there's always going to be an offer on the table for somebody like Randall Edwards to just go ahead and go like, all right, well, maybe I don't see nothing good happening here no time soon. Like, let's just go ahead and jump ship and let's go somewhere else, right? Like I'm not saying that was Randall's mindset, but it's part of the dirt late model world, right? Like there's not a single crew out there that isn't looking for some type of crew hand. Like we see it all the time. I mean, even after Speed Weeks, teams are making posts of crew help wanted, right? And we see it every single year. All these posts come out. So there's obviously like there is a demand for people like Randall Edwards. And when you get a guy like that and, they amicably split. So obviously there's no hard feelings and no love lost, and there wasn't no cussing or fighting or death threats. So like everything's good there. It's just one of those deals that maybe Randall just didn't see nothing coming about anytime soon. And he had an offer to go somewhere else and he packed up and rolled. And that's part of the dirt late model racing. That's part of the sport. It is what it is. I don't really know a whole lot about it yet. It's something that's kind of fresh, and I've had a few people message me about it. And, it's what do you do? For Josh Rice, it kind of stinks. maybe Josh is happy about it. Who knows? Like, you go down there to speed weeks and you spend 3 months together, and you realize pretty quickly, like, and it may not even been a decisions on the race car deal. Like, it just might have been two guys that it's like, look, hey, you're a talent behind the wheel. Josh is sitting there telling Randall, Randall's telling Josh, you're a talent behind the wheel, and Josh telling Randall, you're a talent on the wrenches, but we're just not going to work. Like, this just ain't going to fly for me. So let's just go ahead and finish it. Let's just cut it off now. We got a break here before we go Lucas Oil Racing again. And, sayonara, see you later. Randall, you can go find a job anywhere else you want, and we'll find a way to make it happen here at JRR. So, like, there's a lot of different ways you can look at it and peel the banana, but it's one of those deals you don't know until you get true sources, right? So it's interesting, though. It just tells you how easily fluctuating this sport is, right? Like, nobody signs contracts. You're not signing 10-year deals and going to ride this thing out or going to ride it out to the end of the year, right? Like, these dudes can pack up and jump ship anytime they want to. And that's part of the dirt late model world.
Unless you're Austin and Joel with Rocket One.
Yeah. Danny Austin and Joel with Rocket One are they're there. They're there.
And Gunner's Honey.
And Gunner's Honey. Seabrook Calf Francis.
Gunner's Honey. Yeah.
Valvoline.
But as you were talking right there, and you were talking, like, I was just kind of putting it in my mind, like, just think about the last 3 drivers that Randall has worked with and how different they are, different points of their careers, and how different their personalities are. Yeah. Tyler Erb, like Randall Edwards, when Tyler Erb were together, that's when Tyler was really starting to make, and I feel like Randall Edwards certainly helped Tyler Erb win those first Lucas races of his career, right? Yeah. Like, I think that helped speed Turbo's learning curve up, racing nationally on the Lucas Oil Tour when he won those first few at East Bay, right? Like, Turbo's got over 20-something Lucas Oil wins now, but a lot of those wins came with Randall Edwards. Is it possible that maybe we could see a Turbo Randall Edwards, get back together at some point? Like, that would be pretty cool. But, like, just think about these 3 different personalities. Josh Rice, kind of a down-home backwoods country boy, kind of talks like this, but a good old boy, and he can wheel the snot out of a race car. And Carson Brown, just this young, up-and-coming kid, who's not even 18 years old yet. Like, Randall's had the Rolodex on different driver personalities. And, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I'm kind of interested to see what's next for him, because we know his resume speaks for itself. And I think anybody that, that would take him on would be happy to have him. But, and I think Turbo's got something pretty good cooking right now, but it would be cool to see those guys get back together. I think he could only help Turbo continue to improve his career. And, hey, Turbo's sitting 5th in World of Outlaws points right now. If I was Randall, I'd probably give best performance a call and say, hey, what the burgers like over there? You know what I'm saying? Like, what the burgers like over there at best performance? They're like, buddy, we still got them. We finna throw some on right now. Come on. We'll see what happens. But it'll be pretty funny to see how that all unfolds. So, that's about a wrap on racing. The Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series gets back at action, I believe, this weekend at Brownstown. No,
next weekend.
Next weekend. Thank you. Yes, sir.
This weekend, the Outlaws are at Magnolia.
All right. Well, that's a lot to look forward to. So the World of Outlaws sprint cars are at Kennedale Speedway Park, and of course, the High Limit sprint cars started off their season in Las Vegas. Dude, Interstate Batteries is sponsoring the High Limit Sprint Car Series this year. Like. Yeah. How cool is that? Sprint cars don't even use interstate batteries. That's the thing that I found was the coolest out of this whole thing. Yeah. Like, to me, Cortland, it says a lot about a company. Like, Interstate Battery stature and how long they've been involved in motorsports. Like, they're involved with teams like Joe Gibbs, right? Like Christopher Bell. I mean, they for them to see the value in dirt racing, though, like I said, sprint cars don't utilize interstate batteries, and for them to come and set up booths and what have you, and see something in dirt racing, I think is really, really cool. And it just looks really professional, having that Interstate Batteries logo, right? Like the Bobby Labonte 18, like such a iconic car. Dale Jarrett drove the 18 car there for a little while, but Bobby Labonte won a championship for Joe Gibbs Racing in the number 18 car. So Interstate Batteries goes back a long, long way. And for them to come on as a title sponsor of the High Limit Series, the logo, everything about it just looks really, really good, doesn't it?
You said it best. The fact that they find value in sprint car racing and dirt track racing in general to go out there and put their name on something like that is absolutely incredible. And when you put a name like Interstate Batteries that is nationally known, when you talk about batteries, you walk into any store in the world, like you can probably find an Interstate battery to go power your car, right? And it's just really, really cool that they find that value in dirt track racing in sprint car racing, whether it's sprint car, late model, modified, whatever it may be. Interstate Batteries sees that, like, hey, this is a really big market, and this is something that we're not scared to put our name on. And it's really, really cool to see that, man. They had a sweet booth set up there at Las Vegas for the Interstate Battery people, and it's just something really special. And it's really, really cool to see the support that it's getting, and whether, Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson and all that, like, some people may hate the fact that Kyle Larson is part owner of the series, or Brad Sweet, whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, we're getting names like Interstate Batteries to be the title sponsors of Sprint Car Series. And that kind of throws a throwback to like a Pennzoil, whenever the Pennzoil World of Outlaw Sprint Cars, right? Like, it's a really, really cool to have that nationally known company put their name out there and sponsor a series, and a lot of these national tours, like they got those big name sponsors. It's just really, really cool to see Interstate Batteries still continue to this day in 2026, that these major large companies see value in a sport that sometimes we think is just a bunch of old rednecks just get together and go around in a dirt track. But at the end of the day, these multi-million-dollar companies see value in marketing and advertising with us, and it's a really, really cool to see. And they had a phenomenal weekend out there at Las Vegas, man. What a great way to kick off the year, the Interstate Batteries High Limit Series.
Yeah, it was a hell of a great season opener too. Gio Silsey, how about Gio debuting a brand new Spire Motorsports, another NASCAR team getting into sprint car racing this year, and got Chili's on it. Like, that looked like Chili's being on a sprint car. That's another thing that looks really neat. Yes, it seems a little mainstream, but dude, if we want to go to the next level, you got to get some mainstream sponsorship, like we were just talking about with Interstate Batteries, and you got Chili's on board. Now you got Spire Motorsports. Hell, if Gio goes out there and wins some races, who says Spire doesn't get another car? I mean, get the 2-car team. I mean, because they could see the value and they could see the money in it, right? You go race for $200,000 at Eldora later this year for the Kings Royal and so on, and the black the Jacks. I forget the hell of the name of it.
Joker's Jackpot.
The Joker's Jackpot. Yeah. Way to bail me out right there, dog.
I got you, bud. I got you.
I'm over here struggling. I've been struggling this whole podcast for some reason. But yeah, it was a great season opener. Corey Day Gio Silsey had a very substantial lead. And then coming off of four to the line, or Kyle Larson ends up getting out there and getting to the lead. Well, Corey Day was running third for the most part of the race. He gets the second, and he gets a run on Larson coming to the line, and Larson only beats him by 0.096, like the third closest finish in high limit racing history. I thought that was pretty cool. The third closest finish, because honestly, when you watch Las Vegas, you don't think to yourself like, man, this is just the most racy track in the world. But it did provide some pretty solid racing and provide a hell of a great finish on Friday night. And so that was cool to see. Larson got the win. And on Saturday night, Corey Day backed it up with another win. Conversation I want to ask, and I feel like maybe we already had this conversation last year, because Ty Gibbs flipped at Las Vegas last year. And I feel like we came on here and talked about it last year. But man, he just ramped right over the right rear. I can't remember who it was. A guy's right rear in the heat race.
Yeah.
And man, like, Ty Gibbs has way more to risk, right? Like, he has way more to lose risking racing sprint cars. Number one, for his health and safety. But two, I mean, you could come out here and fail. And sure, like, guys like me, I personally would have a lot of respect for it. But there's a lot of other people who don't keep their mind open, who will be really, really quick to chastise him and tell him how bad he sucks. You know what I mean? Oh, you ain't shit. You can't come and race on dirt, man. You ain't nobody. You shouldn't even be in NASCAR if you can't race a sprint car. Well, listen, that dude has everything to lose for racing a sprint car.
Yeah.
And yet he comes out and he does it again, even after last year flipping like the first few laps of the heat race. He doesn't even make it one corner this year and flips in the heat race. And granted, look, he's got speed, but again, everything to lose, and that young man takes a risk. So I have nothing but respect for that, man.
Yeah, we can say whatever we want to. And like you said, this dude has nothing to gain out of it other than going out there and racing. And what if at the end of the day, Ty Gibbs just wants to go out there and race a sprint car because he sees how much fun Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell and all of his other buddies have, right? Like what if he truly believes that this is the most fun and entertaining form of racing that he can go out there and compete in, and he wants to have a part of it? Like, he went and run the Chili Bowl, had a really good run at the Chili Bowl. Like, and you can't shake your head at it. And like you said, I'm not going to be one that talks negative about it, because the dude doesn't have to go do this. Like, he doesn't have to come out there and race a sprint car. And I mean, he's risking a lot. Like, you put all the risk out there, like it's a way more of a liability than an asset when we look at it in that scenario, right? But Like the
That
dude
was a
is,
bad
it's
crash
another.
he had.
It was pretty gnarly. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
it was wicked.
Like,
It was wicked, and it was wide open at Las Vegas, and that place ain't no isn't no little bull ring. I'll put it like that. Like, that place is big. Like, that's one of the bigger tracks
no
I've ever
doubt.
been to myself, man. Because it's that place is it's massive. It doesn't.
It is big.
The camera doesn't do it no justice. Like, that place is large, and it's one of them deals. Like, you hate to see it happen to them, and it's almost one of them deals like Ty. Like, don't screw this up for everybody else. Like, we need you to quit wrecking, because if you get hurt or something happens, then all of the NASCAR guys are going to get cut off from doing this stuff, right? Like, don't screw it up for us. But at the end of the day, I want you to keep on racing and having fun. If you think sprint car racing is something you want to go and do on your spare time and come out and hang out with the homies and race, by all means, come do it. Just don't blow it out the window for everybody else, because like you said, we're back to back 2 years in a row. He takes a gnarly flip at Vegas, man. And glad everybody was all right through that deal. It just it's crazy to think, like, well, and what are the odds the 2 years back to back that something like that happens, right? Like, what is really the odds? Maybe he just, one of those deals, you just misjudge your corner, right? Like, he doesn't race these sprint cars every single weekend or all the time, so it's one of those deals that maybe he just misjudged it a little bit and ended up in a bad spot. But at the end of the day, man, it's a dude that doesn't have to come do this. Like, he's got everything going for him in the pavement world, and he doesn't have to come out here and race this dirt track at Las Vegas if he doesn't want to. And he shows up to do it. And so all credit in the world goes out to him. Ty Gibbs, just don't screw it up for everybody else. All right. That's all I'm going to ask out of you.
Man, there was a couple bad crashes, and I don't really like to highlight the crashes, but we do talk about different storylines and things that happen at the races. And another storyline that came out of Las Vegas was that flip on Saturday night, the crash between Justin Peck and Hunter Schurenberg. And the only reason why I'm bringing this up today is because when I saw this wreck happen the other night, and then I saw Hunter Schurenberg's post interview, which they immediately went and put a mic in his face, and he was still hot underneath the proverbial collar, and he had some choice words to say about Justin Peck, and honestly felt like Peck was at fault for that. And as we're watching it, or as I go back, and the races got over early enough, so I was able to watch the high limit feature driving home from Architect Saturday. So I'm watching this, and I hear his vantage point, and then I hear the opinion of Justin Peck, who got cleaned out. And you can watch it yourself and see the video, and you're thinking to yourself, if anybody is at fault here, it's definitely Hunter Schurenberg, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're coming through 3 and 4. A slide job was just given by Peck in 1 and 2. And in 3 and 4, Schurenberg comes from the top of the racetrack, didn't turn his blinker on, and just comes all the way. I mean, and just chops Justin Peck. Like, it was almost like, what are we doing type shit. Well, the only reason why I'm bringing this up, like I said, is because I gained a lot of respect for Hunter Schurenberg today. We talk about all the time on this podcast, even from my vantage point as an announcer who calls the races, hindsight is always 2020. When we're calling something and we see things as it's happening live and in real time, and we give you our perspective, that's what we thought was happening in that moment. Hindsight's always 2020. If you go back and look at the video later, sure, your perspective and your opinion is likely to change. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you get it right every time and you hit it right on the head, but sometimes you don't. And what you see from the driver's seat, from Hunter Schurenberg's perspective, he sees things a lot differently when he gets to see the video of what he did outside of the race car. And that changed his opinion, and he came out today and he made a Facebook post. He said, after watching the video from last night, I know I'm more to blame for last night's incident and tagged Justin Peck. And he said, than Justin Peck is. I didn't think his run would be near that big, and I was trying to avoid opening myself up for a slider at the other end. Keep in mind, they're racing for the final transfer spot. They're going hard every single lap. And that last sentence right there just tells you that he wants it. He was going for it. He said he was trying to do everything he could to not open up the door to lose that position. He didn't want to get a slider. So they're racing. Like, these guys are out here racing for a living. Like, this is what they do. And what every now and then, Cortland, people are going to make mistakes, and they're going to make mistakes, and they're going to come back, and they're going to see like, oh shit, I was wrong. Well, it'd probably behoove you to come out and say that, hey, I was wrong, because you have to race for the next 52 nights of this season with Justin Peck. And sprint cars are not the kind of race cars to go out here and be smashing and bashing. No. That's not what you do in sprint cars, because somebody's going to get killed. And that was a bad crash the other night. But man, again, I have nothing but respect for Hunter Schurenberg coming out and clearing that up, because Justin Peck felt like in his interview, he was like, what? Yeah. Like, what is he talking about? Like, we just got cleaned out. And if Hunter thinks I'm in the fault, then there's nothing I can do for you. Like really, he was just an innocent bystander. But again, Much respect the 100% today, man. He did not have to come out and do that. He could have swallowed his pride. He could have died on that hill that Justin Peck did him wrong, and he would have looked like an idiot. But he didn't. He knew that he probably made himself look a little silly. So let me come out here and see if we can't fix this image just a little bit today. But again, I got nothing but respect for that.
And you say fix the image, and at the time and moment, that's how he felt, and that's what he said,
Exactly.
right? Like, we can't be mad at him for that, but it also takes a man
Exactly.
to go out there and admit that they were wrong as well, because there's not many drivers out there that'll come out the next day and go, look, I was completely wrong. Like, I was completely in the wrong. I don't know why I sounded like a complete idiot, but now I realize I did. And my apologies, right? Like, sometimes that takes we see it all the time in racing. Like, those guys will just die on that hill because pride and everything else, their ego, they just won't come out and say, look, I goofed up. Like, I know I gave a heated interview, and the time in that moment, I thought that Justin Peck ran me over, blah, 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 whatever it may be. But for Schoenberg to come out there like he did, man, obviously that doesn't fix what happened at Las Vegas, but you got to give a little bit of respect to him to know that he went back and watched the video and was like, oh crap, like, I was the dummy in this situation. Like, I made myself sound like an idiot, and I can either act like it never happened and try to play it off, or I can come out here and apologize and swallow my pride and be a man and go ahead and tell everybody that it was 100% on me, and 100% goes to 100%, man. I can't, I'm not going to fault a man for ever coming out and saying he was wrong. Does it make up for anything that happened in Las Vegas? No. But for him to come out like he did and just flat out tell everybody that he was in the wrong, and to do that, you don't see that very often in the racing world. And, because let's just be real, these drivers race up and down the road, and a lot of them got egos, and a lot of them will never, ever swallow their pride and say that they were in the wrong. They won't do it. And Hunter Schoenberg did that. So I'm going to give him credit, man. Him and Peck are both supreme talents behind the wheel of sprint cars, and they haven't necessarily had the major success, but those are two dudes that got a really bright future, right? And they can go out there and have really good runs this year, and hopefully, put all that to the side. They can call each other, get it all squared out, and again, just to reiterate the whole fact that Hunter Schoenberg came out and said, like, I was 100% wrong. Like, that was all on me. You don't see that very often in big time automobile racing. So that's something really, really, really cool to see him do, and to be able to swallow his pride and that little bit of mistake that he made and tell the whole world that it was on him.
That's with anything in life, man. It takes a lot to admit where you're sometimes to blame. And I commend anybody for owning up and apologizing if you were indeed in the wrong. But don't do it. Just do it if you really mean it. Don't apologize just to save face for everybody else. You know what I mean? Do it if you really mean it. Like, I tell people that all the time. Like, don't be fake about it. Like, if you really mean it, mean it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But don't just do it to talk up a game because you want everybody to think you really cared. And you're not really sorry, but you want the world to think you're sorry, but you're not really sorry behind closed doors. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's it. That's all I got. So the World of Outlaws Sprint Cars, the NOS Energy Drink World of Outlaws Sprint Cars. So we've got NOS Energy Drink, the title sponsor of the World of Outlaws Sprint Cars. And we've got Interstate Batteries on high limit. And here we are in the late model world. And I don't know what the hell's happened. And nothing against Flow Racing being the presenting sponsor for the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series. But we lost, what was the other one last year? All American Beer we had with the World of Outlaws Late Model. We went through a couple different ones. Hopefully.
Case Construction. We had a bunch of different things for the World of Outlaws. Yeah.
Hopefully we can get the late models on the World of Outlaws side. Morton Buildings. Hopefully we can get those guys a good sponsorship, man, going forward. They need it. It'd be good. I mean, it looks good. I mean, they provide a quality show. Obviously, we don't need to go down that whole rabbit hole right now, so we won't. But yeah, absolutely. David Gravel strikes on Friday night, and boy, let me tell you, that was one of the most entertaining World of Outlaws sprint car shows I have seen in a little while. Dude, Buddy Kofoid, is Buddy Kofoid the most entertaining driver to watch in a sprint car right now? I think he is.
He's entertaining to watch in a midget. Like, he's just entertaining in anything he drives.
That dude there, like that, we had a 3-wide battle going on, like a hellacious battle for second between Buddy Kofoid, David Gravel, and Carson Macedo. Like, Kofoid fenced it, like, after wowing the crowd to get into the lead with 4 to go, fences the car at the top of turn number 4. Do you know how many cars, or how many sprint cars got wadded up in turn 4 at Kennedale this past weekend? That top Portland was razor thin throughout the 35 lapper on Saturday night.
Bro,
so Bill Baylog had the lead entering turn 3, And Gravel, like this is coming around to the white. Baylog had the lead throughout this whole race, entering turn 3, coming around to the final deal, and Gravel rolls the bottom. Well, Bill Baylog gets over to the berm with the right side tires, and it just sucks him into the fence. And the whole fans of the crowd's going, oh my God, like losing it. Dude, it was pure pandemonium. One of the best finishes I've seen at Kennedale in a sprint car race, probably ever. But Bill Baylog just got over the berm, got sucked into the wall, and Gravel only led for the final 50 feet to the checkered flag. Like, wow, what a finish and what an exciting race that was, man. That one's worth the price to go back and watch. And dude, we were building up Saturday. David Gravel sneaks through the reigning champion with this last second win at Kennedale on Friday night. He's in the pits trying different chocolate milks, giving them ratings, and life was good. And then unfortunately Saturday night, we get through the heats and all that, that whole tragic scenario took place. But they did say the race is not canceled. They said postponed. So I haven't heard any rumblings, or I don't have any intel just yet of when that may be, when they may make that up. But dude, just back to it, what an absolute Donnybrook special that was on Friday night. What a race.
Hands down, is going to be one of the finishes of the year in sprint car racing. And if it's not, then you're silly. I mean, it was pure pandemonium. You got Coforth, like you said, fenced it with like 4 or 5 to go. Bill Baylog's ripping the top, and like that cushion had done built up like almost over the wall up there.
Yeah.
Like and like KSP,
this much concrete, Cortland.
Yeah, like it wasn't a whole lot of concrete up there. Like you could easily go up there and Lightning McQueen that thing if you wanted to. Like you could put your best Rusties on the side of it and let her rip, bud, because you could go up there and get all the fence you wanted to. And it was a phenomenal finish. I mean, you couldn't describe it much better than how you did. It just it delivered. That's all you got to say is that KSP delivered in the sprint car world on Friday night, man. It was started out a little juiced up, I feel like, but man, it flat out that feature. That's entertainment. That's why we love racing. That's why you have the World of Outlaw sprint cars show up to your racetrack, is to put on a show just like that. Because you could have them roll in and this thing could rubber up and you could be around the infield tires for 30 laps and everybody's leaving going, I'm never coming to watch this again. Or you can go out there on a Friday night like they did and absolutely put on one of the best sprint car races that you'll watch all year long. And that's all you got to say to it, man. It was absolutely phenomenal. David Gravel sneaks by Bill Baylog. I thought Bill Baylog was going to, like, I was pumped up. I'm a Baylog fan. I'm not going to lie. I don't know why. I just like Bill Baylog. Like I just do. It's just one of them random, we all grow up and it's like, oh, I like that guy. Like for whatever reason, I like Bill Baylog, and I thought he was going to win one, and literally climbs the fence, sparking and arcing. I probably ripped off part of the wrap of the wing on the catch fence as he was coming back down the racetrack, and David Gravel sneaks one away from him. Just absolutely, like you said, the fans were fired up, dude. KSP delivered, and there's nobody that left on Friday night that was disappointed.
I was like, I was like, no! I was like yelling at Bill Baylog. I was like, dude, It was really exciting, though. The IMCA Modifieds were also there, presented by Mike Frieri Photography, and Jake Upchurch out of Midlothian, Texas, got the IMCA Modified win there on Friday night over Jacob Perkle, Chase Neal, Dean Abbey, Josh McGay. How about that top 5? Like, that's a who's who of IMCA Modified racing in the great state of Texas. Them dudes. Yeah. And some tough customers over there at Kennedale. Man, if you can win at Kennedale Speedway Park, that's like winning in the Boot Hill of Texas. You know what I mean? Like, if you can win at Kennedale, you guys, you pretty good, Man, dude, I feel like we've covered a lot tonight. We're getting a little long in the tooth, but dude, we got a lot coming up this weekend. There's a lot of stuff to watch that is going to be live on RaceON. Of course, we got several national tours going to be racing this weekend as well. But man, for us here around home, you got the American Crate Late Model Series invading Sabine Speedway for the Bayou Bash on Friday night, and then they roll into Boot Hill this Saturday night. Be happy to see my buddy Chase Lawler at Boot Hill with the American Crate Late Models between Sabine and Boot Hill on Saturday. And also Texarkana 77 Speedway kicks off their season on Friday night as well in Mandeville, Arkansas. So there's a lot to look forward to in that regard. What else do you have? What am I missing?
You got the Jeff Gibby Memorial. The Toms kick off their year at Southern Oklahoma Speedway. That'll also be a pretty good show there on the RaceON platform. You hit the 2 Friday night. Tom's is 2 nights, Friday and Saturday night at Southern Oklahoma Speedway. Super Bee on Saturday, 105 on Saturday, Cotton Bowl races on Saturday, Rockets racing Saturday, I-37, KSP. I mean, you got a full slate of racing action, ladies and gentlemen. And if you've made it all the way to this point in the podcast, go find yourself a racetrack, because there's going to be one that's close to you this weekend. There's no excuses now. It's not just 1 or 2 racing and they're all over the place, right? Or they're all the way across the great state of Texas or whatever. Like, it seems like everybody's racing this weekend. Go out there, find you a track, go support, man, because I promise you, there's going to be some Donnybrook special, as Zach Clark would say, at a plethora of these racetracks this weekend. Go out there and support. Be really cool to see the Toms get kicked off their season at Southern Oklahoma. That's Friday and Saturday, like I mentioned. 67 getting kicked off. The World of Outlaws late models are going to be at Magnolia Motor Speedway, Johnny Stokes' premier facility over there in Mississippi. And then, you roll into Saturday, Super Bee, 105, Cotton Bowl, Rocket, I-37, KSP. We have the honor of having the American Crate Late Model Series invade the great state of Louisiana, take a little dip in the bayou, right? And they're going to come down here and give some love to Sabine Speedway and Boot Hill, and that'll be a really good weekend, man. I'm excited about that. That tour is like when we had Chase on here, man, we talked about it none and outside of the podcast and just talking back and forth, man. That ACLMS series, man, they seem to be really on the up, and their schedule this year looks looks like one of the better schedules that they could have ever put together, right? Like when you really put together a Crate Late Model Series schedule and all the tracks they're going to, man, it's shaping up to be a really cool tour. And I really hope they get the support, because last year, man, they had 32 cars at Sabine and 30 at Boot Hill. And if we could get about 30 cars at each track, that'll be an absolute phenomenal weekend. And I'm really excited to see it come down, man. I'll be at Sabine Friday night, and then I get to join you up there in the booth at Boot Hill on Saturday. And it's going to be a great weekend of racing action, the Arklatex, all across the great state of Texas. Just wherever you can find a racetrack that's close to you, people, go out there and find one, because I promise you, there's one at least somewhere relatively close that you can make your way to.
Yes, sir, it is a lot to look forward to this weekend, man. I'm looking forward to 67 season opener. Of course, we got rained out last week, so we'll try it again this week. I hate to miss Manny, but it is what it is. I'm sure I'll be down there, I believe, May 22nd for the Triple Crown Throwdown weekend. And yeah, looking forward to getting down there, man. Shane's doing a great job with that place. And I really hope guys go down and support it. I hope both 67 and Sabine both have great turnouts this week. I think both can happen. And that's what we're going to have happen, because they're both racing. So everybody come support both. And let's make it a good deal. And we'll see you at the Hill on Saturday night. Thank y'all for tuning in and hanging out with us to the final whistle. Be blessed and be a blessing. We'll see you here next time.
Later.